that cable car.
Nice work, sir.
Thank you, Sergeant.
I guess that winds up the Levinson case.
Push the seat back a little ways. It's a lot better.
If I were you, Commissioner, I'd spend the evening in a hot tub.
A good idea if I can talk 6 people into climbing in with me. Gotta make a seance.
You're going to a seance tonight, sir?
Afraid so.
Well, don't be afraid. I've been. They're a little spooky, sure, but it's worth it considering the information you pick up.
Information you pick up?
Yeah. What's the name of your seer, sir?
Not my seer, it's the seer of a friend. A very dear friend has just been told her husband is coming back from the dead.
From the dead? That's quite a trick.
Yeah. That's why I want to be there.
We are here among the dead, waiting for you who are out there in the great beyond to communicate with us. We ask that you make your presence known. Ours is a distinguished group here tonight. Commissioner of Police Stuart McMillan and his lovely wife. Magician Harry Hastings, known professionally as the Great Mandini, who last week here at this table heard the spirit of Arthur Kendall speak to us. The gracious and beautiful Nora Dane. And most important of all, Arthur asked that his beloved wife Evie be here with us, and she is. Evie Kendall is here and waiting, accompanied by her doctor, Eli Spake. Join hands, please.
Well, old Gabriel's apparently putting in an appearance tonight. Now, that's her best trick. From here on, it's usually downhill.
I feel the presence of Arthur Kendall. Arthur is trying to get through. Arthur, we know you are here. We ask you to join us in our circle of love.
Evie. Evie! Evie! Oh, Evie. Oh, Evie. Why? Why did you kill me? Why did you murder me?
Evie, now listen to me. Listen to me, Evie. It's all right. Now, come on, I'll take you home.
Sally, come with me, please.
Are you coming, Nora?
No, I'd just be in the way, but please tell her again how awful I feel. God, to lose your husband's bad enough, but to have him called from the dead. I should know. Mine called from Hong Kong last night to tell me that the alimony'd be late again.
Oh, well, at least it was a friendly call. Nora, will you tell Mac that I went with Evie?
Madam Zara, would you mind telling me how this trick was done?
I most certainly would mind. Do you think I shake like this after a trick? A cheap trick. It's true. I do sometimes resort to tricks. I can command this trumpet to float in midair. But, Commissioner, what you have just seen was a true visitation.
Sally wanted you to know she went with Evie.
Okay, thanks, Nora.
Admit, I wonder why I was chosen myself. Why he picked me for one of the great psychic experiences. Obviously, there is a purity about me that even I hadn't recognized. But I was ready. And what you saw was a true miracle from the grave, an anguished soul pointing an accusing finger at the person who murdered him. I think I'm going to give up the trumpet.
Yes, ma'am. Harry.
I don't know, Mac. I don't know how she did it. I've checked every wall and every baseboard, and I don't know. I know she's a first-class fraud, but last week I heard him, and tonight I saw him.
How dare you, Harry Hastings? I have seen many of your tricks, but I have always remained polite. And now tonight, you see a true visitation, and you can't even be gracious about it. You are riddled with jealousy. But I take that as a supreme compliment.
Then I trust you'll take it as a supreme compliment if I call the bunco squad to go over this room.
I am deeply honored.
I didn't kill him. I didn't kill him.
Of course you didn't, Evie. We all know that.
And why did he say it? Why?
We don't know that it was Arthur.
Mac doesn't believe in ghosts. I don't either.
Look, she really should be resting now.
No.
Evie, you're going to take a sedative. You've got to rest.
No, not yet. I want to tell Mac and Sally everything.
That can wait till tomorrow.
No, now. Mac, you and Sally remember this little item? A memento of my suicide attempt 2 years ago.
I don't think that now is the time to discuss it. Eli's right. Let's wait till tomorrow. Good night's sleep.
I'm not discussing suicide. I'm talking about this razor. After I tried to use it, Arthur hid it. I never knew where.
That's right. Then, maybe a month ago.
I'm telling this, Eli. A month ago today, I found it lying open on my dressing room table. And only a week later, I opened a closet door and found a suit of Arthur's clothes hanging there, caked with blood.
Darling, must you?
Yes, I must. And yesterday, an oil portrait of Arthur that had been put away in storage. Come with me, please. It suddenly reappeared. There on the wall. When the maid saw it, she quit. I stood here staring up at it and remembered the day that I tried to quit. That was the worst fight that Arthur and I ever had. The very next night, he called from our cabin in the mountains and asked me to join him there. But I didn't. No, I didn't. I wasn't the one that fired that gun. I never went.
Evie, you were proven innocent.
Yes. Yes, you did that for me.
No, a jury did.
Evie, you've been through more than enough for one night. Now, please, take a sedative now.
No. No.
Evie, what is it?
Smells like tobacco smoke.
It was my last birthday present to him. Why is this happening? Why?
That's why we're here, Evie. Find out why.
And Mac will, Evie.
It's Arthur. It's Arthur. Find him, please. He's got to be here. He is here. I can feel his presence. He's in this room right now. Show yourself, Arthur. Show yourself, Arthur.
Ghost giving me the willies. My grandmother used to live in a haunted house. I was a little girl at the time.
Your grandmother used to live in a haunted house?
Mm-hmm, was all she could afford.
Did you ever see any ghosts?
Oh, sure, I saw them. But I never heard one talk like you two did last night. Arthur Kendall talked, wow.
He talked.
Somebody talked.
But what did he sound like with his head shot off?
She's got a point there, you know that?
I mean, that poor man up there in the mountains trying to get a little rest. He opens the door and there stands somebody with a shotgun. What do I mean, somebody? If he said his wife killed him, she did. And that's why his poor ghost is earthbound. No one will believe him.
Mildred, Evie did not kill him.
Oh, I know she's one of your closest friends, Mrs. McMillan. But if Arthur said she did it, she did it. Oh, would you like a little coffee?
Thank you.
Oh, I better get some fresh.
Mac, what if Evie starts thinking like Mildred does? She'll become convinced that she did kill him, and it'll drive her insane. You can't let that happen, Mac. She's counting on you.
I know. The problem is trying to figure out what our friend the ghost is counting on.
We covered every square inch of that seance room, sir. Nothing. Marnie Ellsworth couldn't have been more cooperative.
She's been waiting all her life to be investigated by a bunco squad.
Yeah, well, I also had them check into her past. Always a lot of hocus pocus, but always within the law.
What's that odor?
Oh, oil of cloves, sir. I got a molar that's killing me. Nice smell, huh?
Very nice. There it is.
boy. When Harry Hastings says a man's home is his castle, he isn't kidding.
Hello in there.
Well, now what do we do?
We say open sesame. You see?
Mac, I'm on lower level 2.
I'll go first, Sergeant.
It's wet.
Hello, Mac.
Sergeant Enright, this is the great Mandini.
Sergeant? Well, we're getting the hands in shape, putting together our new show.
Didn't know you gave him any more, Harry.
Well, except on special occasions, I don't. Like the circus, the day of magic, the day of the magician is almost over. Night of the wizard, twilight of the gods, you might say. However, I'm booked into one last grand tour. We're opening tonight at the Club Castile. Toothache, Sergeant?
No, I'm just a little on edge.
Feel better?
It's gone.
Temporary relief. In a few hours, it'll wear off, so I advise you to check with your dentist. Otherwise, I'm in trouble with the ADA. Here, Sergeant, let me show you another. Take a card.
Harry, Enright and I are here to talk about last night.
Mac, what if I were to tell you... What if I were to tell you that I didn't think it was a trick?
Oh, come on, Harry. You don't believe in ghosts any more than I do. You've exposed every case we ever handed you. He's caught more frauds than any man I know. Given expert testimony in court, time and time again. All negative, Harry. No such thing as ghosts. Don't tell me now, after all this, that you're suddenly going to start believing in them.
I know what I saw. Nobody could be more shaken than I.
You can't honestly believe that Arthur Kendall came back from the dead and talked to us.
Mac, please try to understand what all this means to me. I mean, the search to find the supernatural has been the quest of every great magician, and for obvious reason. With all our illusions, tricks, devices, we still secretly want to believe that such a thing does exist, called the true magic, that extra step into the unknown. And last night, after all these years, I witnessed it. I heard it. I saw it. My body, I felt cold, clammy. Because I knew that here it is. The dead can return. And no wizard of legerdemain, myself included, could ever create an illusions so real as the ghost of Arthur Kendall.
The medium sat here, Nora Dane here, and the magician here. Evie Kendall here and Dr. Spake here. Sally and I sat over here. Arthur Kendall appeared about here from my sightline.
We checked, sir, and there was no evidence of projection equipment or mirrors to create the image.
That means the image was created by the presence of a real person.
In the flesh, sir.
These drapes concealed the door through which he obviously came.
But, sir, that door was locked.
It was locked when I tried it. Doesn't mean it was locked when he tried.
Well, Commissioner, conducting your own private seance, I see.
No, just consulting the future, Chapman. Trying to see if the district attorney is ever going to win a case.
That's good, Mac. Very good. Now look into the past and see if you should have won the case of Evie Kendall.
Why? You thinking of putting a ghost up on the witness stand?
I'm dreaming about it. Especially about the part where he testifies to the fact that she killed him.
What's your angle?
Justice isn't an angle, Commissioner.
Why don't you turn that into a bumper sticker? You know that Evie Kendall was acquitted of that murder. And even if she walked into this room right now and confessed, the laws of double jeopardy would prevent you or anyone else from taking legal recourse. So, what's your angle?
Well, let's see. She testified that she took sleeping pills that night. But did she? She could have driven up to that mountain cabin, killed him, and who would have known? If I can prove she lied about that alibi, we've got her on perjury, 1 to 14 years.
Look, Chapman. Evie Kendall is in a very delicate and dangerous state of mind. This is not the time to force her to relive that case with a lot of hard questions.
You and your wife are just too close to her, Max. She could have done it, you know, and a thing like murder shouldn't be allowed to just lie there.
No, it shouldn't, and it should have been solved by now.
It could have been solved by now. Tell me, Mac, what bothers you more? That you saw a ghost? Or that you let a murderess get off scot-free?
How about my specialty?
No, just rub my neck. Did you ever have the feeling you were being used, Sally?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It's the way I feel. Hello?
Commissioner, I found a report that a lawyer now dead was called upon to draw up a contract of some kind between Arthur Kendall and Harry Hastings.
What kind of a contract?
Well, the deal was never made, sir, so we don't know.
But Harry Hastings does.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Pandora's box. Contrary to legend, Pandora never opened the box, never discovered the contents. Its hideous creatures were never set loose over the countryside. It was taboo, forbidden. And for that reason, in 1704, this lock was placed on it. Through all the long years and the many centuries since then, Pandora's box has remained
Nora, I
closed.
wish Joe would come back.
Shut.
They're divorced. My little romantic, you do know what that means.
I don't want to discuss it.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a rare and eerie experience. Tonight, this night, for the first time in history, Pandora's box is to be opened.
Scare you?
Great looking. I think Pandora's gonna jump out.
And land in your lap. You're the one who ordered ringside.
I love it. Mac, he's terrifying those women. I'm not easily frightened, but if I were, well, it'd be enough to drive you batty. You do think it's a little scary, don't you, Mac?
Do you suppose that was the deal?
What?
The deal between Arthur and Harry. To drive Evie out of her mind.
Horrible.
Come in.
Great show, old great Mandini.
Absolutely terrifying. You want to see my goosebumps?
Sally, no.
I could show you a few of my own.
You mean you scare yourself?
Only on opening night.
That Pandora's Box illusion's quite a horror show, Harry.
I hope so.
You always end your act with a number that leaves them screaming?
That's my trade, Mac. It's part of it anyway.
It could scare the wits out of anybody.
I didn't make that deal with Arthur Kendall, Mac. In fact, when he asked me to drop by that afternoon, I assumed that he and Evie were both there, and it was just for a visit. I quickly discovered that he was alone, and...
It's a surprise party, Harry. Evie's birthday. It'll be quite a group, 20, 30 people. Now, just before Evie comes down the stairs, I'm gonna make sure there's a power failure.
Power failure? You're suggesting she come downstairs in the dark?
Well, why not? That's the idea, surprise. But what a surprise. Just before the lights go up, you unleash those squiggly creatures from Pandora's box.
Arthur, are you aware that she's never seen that trick before?
She's never even heard of it. That's what's so great. She won't know what's happening.
Women have been known to faint when I perform that illusion, Arthur. You know that. You know it.
Evie won't faint. Heaven forbid.
No, Arthur. The answer is a definite no.
What do you mean, no? Harry, I'm not asking you to do me a favor. I'm engaging your professional services, standard contract. In fact, now that you mention it...
I didn't mention it.
I'm having one drawn up. Name your price. The lawyer will fill it in.
Good day to you, Arthur.
You're not leaving just yet. What are you trying to pull?
What are you trying to pull, Kendall?
Harry Hastings, the great Mandini, magician extraordinaire, is that it? All right, I'll lay a bundle on you for just one performance.
Including health and welfare, including that?
Harry, you may need health and welfare sooner than you think. You know, magicians aren't exactly in demand these days. Or do you plan to stand on local street corners and pull rabbits from hats in hopes that people will throw pennies at you?
I should have hit him. I wanted to, but I didn't. I simply got out of there. Mac, that's the last time I talked to Arthur Kendall.
Why would he want to scare her like that?
Why? To drive her back to an asylum, of course.
For her money, Sally, that's why he married her.
That's also why he wanted to get rid of her. Imagine thinking about money when you're face to face with a creature as lovely and as fragile as Evie Kendall. She is quite simply the most exquisitely beautiful woman in the world.
Mac, he's in love with Evie. Isn't that nice?
I hope so.
Remember that movie with Charles Boyer?
Yeah, and Ingrid Bergman.
Come back, Mac.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what Arthur was trying to do. Gaslight her.
And what someone's still trying to do. But who now?
Well, now, oh daughter of the great criminologist, who's got the most to gain?
I can't think of anybody but Arthur.
Exactly.
But he's dead.
You sure?
Well, how could he be alive? He couldn't. How?
I'm going to exhume Arthur's body.
Oh, Mac.
And I'll have to get Evie's permission.
Suppose we're wrong.
Don't think I haven't thought of that.
I feel fine. But you obviously have some bad news for me. What is it, Mac?
Not bad news. No, I have a proposal I'd like to make to you, but I don't want it to upset you.
I'm fine, really. Propose.
Evie, has it ever occurred to you that Arthur might still be alive?
Mac, how can you even say that?
Because no one can prove his appearance at the seance was a trick, and I refuse at this late stage of my life to start believing in ghosts.
Mac, do you really think he's alive?
We don't know, of course, Evie.
We have to be sure. There's only one way.
How do you do that?
Exhume the body, and I need your permission.
No, you're taking a terrible risk subjecting her to this.
Eli, please. Mac, if you feel it's the right thing to do, then do it.
Commissioner, I'm sure you're aware that you're dealing with a woman who has a past history of emotional disturbance. Now, during the trial, she transferred her dependence to you, and that's all right. But ideally, since the trial, as her psychiatrist, I should have come to bear some of that responsibility. Well, I didn't. It remains with you. You're the one she counts on. And if you fail her, she's gone. Only this time there won't be any recovery. Now, do I make myself clear?
Yes, you do, Dr. Spig, but there's one thing you don't understand. Sally and I love Evie, too.
Where's Sykes? He went to get the coroner's report.
Did he say anything?
Only that he wanted to tell you himself, though he was smiling.
Commissioner, I've got great news for
Great, let's hear it.
Well, first of all, because of the intervening year, it was impossible to get any fingerprints. Did you get a haircut?
Yeah. Come on, Sykes.
Thought so. Well, then we checked for bone fractures. And there was no discrepancy between the corpse and Arthur Kendall's medical record.
What did you find out?
The dental plates. It so happens that the man who did those plates is a friend of mine. As a matter of fact, he did this bridge. Take a look at that work, will you?
Oh, yeah, it's lovely.
Is that beautiful?
Oh, lovely.
Well, he's a fine man. He's one of the best in the profession. And I talked to him personally.
Sykes, what exactly did he tell you?
A perfect match. No question about it.
About what?
That the corpse is Arthur Kendall.
He's dead?
You bet he's dead.
Thank you, Sykes.
Well, I must say he didn't seem too pleased.
Sykes. He didn't want the body to be Arthur Kendall.
He didn't? Well, nobody told me.
Well, what would you have done about it if they had?
Well, I could have been a little less cheerful.
No.
Are they sure, Mac?
Arthur's dead.
And we're back where we started, aren't we? Oh, Mac. You don't know how I was hoping this would all finally be at an end. That we'd know who it was. I was counting on it.
I was counting on it, too, Evie. I was convinced. Otherwise, I wouldn't put you through all this.
Well, there's nothing to do but go home again, is there?
I'll take you home, Evie. Mac, why don't you pick me up there?
Dr. Spake, please. Commissioner McMillan calling. Hello, Eli? Mac. Yes, we've just had the report. The body is Arthur Kendall's. No, I've already told her. So I'm calling you. Sally's taking her home now, and I think it's a good idea if you were there when they arrived. All right, we can talk about it later.
Excuse me, sir.
Boy, if I was ever set up for one, this is it.
Set up for it?
By a first-class criminal mind, too. He's been ahead of me every step of the way. He knew that seance would terrify Evie, but not enough to drive her insane. Just enough to make her lean on me. A little bit more. He knew I'd exhume the body, which would give her new hope, knowing full well the body was Arthur's. And he knew what that would do to her. Using me to push her right on the edge of madness. Well, if he knows me that well, then I must know him. Well, who is it?
Maybe I better call Dr. Spake.
Here. Your husband called earlier. Thank you for bringing her home, Mrs. McMillan.
I'll just wait downstairs for Mac. My coat and purse right there. That was it. That was the noise. Nothing. The window to the French door's open.
Sally. Sally.
It's the wind. It's just the wind. I know what you're trying to do. If Evie were to come downstairs and see her best friend screaming like a banshee, then it would really drive her mad. What am I talking to? I'm talking to the wind.
Sally!
You're dead! You're dead!
you're to blame for this. You may have destroyed her tonight.
Human mind. It's a primitive fear of the unknown. It's remarkable what it can do to you.
Who could it be?
Fear of the dark.
Motive, motive, motive.
Mildred says you disturbed his grave. She says they don't like that. Mildred also
Sally,
says...
stop thinking about that now. Really.
Right. I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going thinking about it.
Mildred.
Oh, it's you, Commissioner.
Sorry, Mildred. I thought I heard it. The roast beef was very good tonight, wasn't it?
Well, who could eat with all those poltergeists roaming around? Poltergeists. Those are the destructive ones, you know. Want one?
No.
Oh. Want another one?
No, one was enough.
Well, I asked. Good night.
It was Mildred getting ice cubes.
I thought it was Mildred. It was just that I was thinking that... When I was a little girl, I was afraid of the dark. So sometimes my mother left the light on for me.
You want one on now?
Not as long as you're here. Thank you, Mac. I love you too.
This is a Richmond lock. It's identical to the one found on the side door of the medium seance room. To open the door, you turn the lock to the right. You close the door, it locks again. Could you open the door, please? Open it. Yeah, thank you.
Then it was locked from the outside.
That's right.
Whoever impersonated Arthur Kendall at the seance had to have an accomplice on the inside.
That's right.
Anything else?
Yes. We vacuumed the room thoroughly. The lab has analyzed the contents.
And?
Well, we found the usual dust, flakes of phosphorescent paint, and these. Pine needles, caked with mud. Could have been tracked in the bottom of somebody's shoes. It's silver-tip Pacific fir, endemic to high altitudes. Found in mountains all through this region.
There's a grove of them up at Kendall's mountain cabin. All right, let's take a run up there. Thank you, Sykes.
Thank you.
Since you're so busy, Sergeant, you know I don't mind driving.
No, I can handle it, Commissioner. I can handle it.
You should have gotten the number of that dentist that Sykes was recommending so highly.
Well, as a matter of fact, sir, I did.
Oh, good. When's your appointment?
Huh? Oh, it's right about now.
You sure you don't want me to drive?
No, I'm fine, sir. I'm fine. Commissioner, I wish you remember that I'm the one with the gun.
Thank you, Sergeant. I'll try to keep that in mind.
Who do you think it was, sir?
I don't know. Let's go see what he didn't want us to see.
Hello?
Evie. Oh, Evie. This is Arthur. Evie. I must see you. I must see you, Evie.
Where are you?
At the old beach house. Oh, hurry. Hurry to me, Evie.
Yes. Yes, I'll be there.
Enright. Arthur Kendall's tobacco. Special blend.
Well, now we know where he got the stuff to frighten Mrs. Kendall. He being whoever's impersonating Arthur Kendall.
But why? Why smoke it when no one else is around, unless you enjoy it?
Well, you know how it is, sir. You try it.
Right.
You like it. Commissioner? Whoever it was had female company. Take a look.
That's the dress Nora Dane wore the night of the seance.
Then you think that she was the one that opened the door that night?
Now I do.
Well, then Nora's husband, Joe, must be our ghost. She just pretended that he was overseas. Actually, he was here all the time trying to gaslight Mrs. Kendall.
Why? Nora and Joe have nothing to gain if Evie's put away. Only Arthur Kendall, her husband, could get the money.
Well, maybe they made a deal with Arthur Kendall. Well, that's no good. He's dead. This thing really hurts. Who else had a motive? Yeah, that's better. You know, sir, I bet I wind up needing a bridge just like Sykes. It's expensive, too. Because you always have to have two of them made in case you lose one or one gets broken or...
Enright?
Oh, I'm sorry about the odor, sir, but it really helps.
You're a genius.
Well?
Call that dentist.
From here?
Find out if Arthur Kendall had a spare plate made.
That's it. Kendall had a spare, and he stuck it in the corpse's mouth.
And pick up Evie. I want her in protective custody. And put out an APB on Arthur Kendall.
Yes, sir. Boy, an all-points bulletin on a dead man. Wait till they hear this one. Commissioner?
Yeah?
If Arthur Kendall is alive, who's dead?
I'll get the answer to that right now.
Arthur Kendall is dead, Mac. You've got to believe me.
You're lying, Nora. Arthur Kendall is alive, and you're conspiring with him to drive Evie insane.
Oh, Mac, I'm surprised.
Come off it, Nora. School's out.
You don't know what you're saying.
Don't I?
No.
You think an investigation won't prove you and Arthur are having an affair?
Oh, all right. So we had an affair. So what?
So what? Out of that affair came the plan to get Evie's money and take off.
Oh, now you're the one
Of
who's
course,
crazy.
you had to get rid of a husband, and Arthur had to get rid of a wife. It worked out just fine, didn't it?
It isn't.
Get Evie committed! Not too difficult where a man as clever as Arthur is concerned.
Mac, you're wrong.
Am I?
Mm-hmm.
Something went wrong that night at the cabin, didn't it? Your cute little trick backfired, and all of a sudden you're involved in a murder.
Mac, you're wrong. You are dead wrong.
Am I? Why don't we ask Joe? Why don't we call Joe in Hong Kong and ask him? Or maybe we'd be wasting our time because Joe's dead. That is Joe in the coffin, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, that's Joe. Poor dumb Joe. No matter what you think, it started off without wanting anyone dead. It began when Arthur invited Joe and me up to the cabin for the weekend. Joe, he had no idea what was up. He just thought it was fun time.
Then Arthur called Evie and said he was up there.
Yes, that was the plan. When she arrived, I was to say, why, Evie, don't you remember? You phoned me and invited Joe and me to spend the weekend here. Then when she went home, Arthur was going to insist that he hadn't called her at all. He was, at a motel halfway down the mountain, waiting to get the results. But it got late and Joe and I went to bed. Then in the middle of the night, there was a knock on the door, and I told Joe that must be Evie.
Then Arthur planted his own ID on Joe's body. Wristwatch, ring, wallet, and spare dental plate.
Joe's unrecognizable. I don't know how I let Arthur talk me into this. You see, he figured that if Evie wasn't found guilty of murder, he would just destroy her as his own ghost. Clever, huh?
Yeah, clever.
Clever man. And such a good actor. When I phoned him at the motel to tell him what had happened, he really made me believe that he hadn't planned it at all. Actually had me convinced that Evie really had done it. And I used to think Joe was the dumb one.
If Arthur was at the motel, he couldn't have killed Joe.
Then Evie did do it.
Evie's not here, sir. Dr. Spake talked to her on the phone, asked her not to go out tonight, but she wouldn't listen to him. She took a gun. She told him that she was going to go out to the beach house and kill Arthur Kendall. Now, I've looked everywhere for that address, sir, but I can't find it. Dr. Spake doesn't know where it is either. I can't find anybody who does.
Well, I can. You were there 3 or 4 summers ago, Sally. Now try and remember.
I'm trying, Mac. I remember the street, and then I remember I used to turn right at a billboard. I remember the billboard because it used to say Wilson for DA, and that was that guy that you caught trying to bribe the jury.
Well, don't you remember a more current landmark?
Yes, there. Mother Boland's brown bread. Turn right there, right there. This is it, Mac, I'm sure. Oh, Mac, we're too late.
Phone's dead. Call for the car.
It's Arthur. It's Arthur Kendall. It's Evie's.
That's correct, Enright. Yeah, the ambulance is leaving now. Yes, he's alive.
We put out an APB on Mrs. Kendall. And Nora Dane's been booked on criminal conspiracy.
Very good.
Anything else I can do, sir?
Yeah. Get a good night's sleep.
Thank you, sir.
Feel okay?
Poor Evie. Imagine being driven to murder.
You think she shot Arthur?
You don't?
Not with that fight that went on in the house.
Of course, Evie's no match for Arthur. He must have fought with a man.
Or if we believe in the Equal Opportunity Act, a very strong woman.
Mac, come on, you're onto something.
Well, let's start with the murder of Nora's husband, Joe. Nora says she didn't do it. Evie says she didn't do it.
Who do you think's telling the truth?
Well, maybe they both are.
If that's the case, we're out of suspects.
Well, there are plenty of suspects, but we're out of his clues.
Well, anyway, at least Arthur's alive.
At least you don't have to believe in ghosts any. Sally, I love you.
You better. What did I do? at least tell me what I said.
That's what I said.
Central, go ahead, sir.
Sergeant Enright, quickly. Sally, suppose somebody loved Evie very much and knew she was being driven insane.
And he killed Joe that night, thinking it was Arthur?
Suppose Arthur was about to kill Evie, and somebody walked in on him.
They fought, and he got Evie's gun, and he shot him.
Now, what would your average run-of-the-mill killer do in a case like that?
Kill Evie to get rid of all the witnesses.
Unless he thought she was the most beautiful, most exquisite woman in the world.
Harry Hastings.
Enright, sir.
Sergeant, get a squad and meet me at Harry Hastings immediately.
Yes, sir.
You stay here.
But Mac...
Wait in the car and wait for the police.
As you know, I'm not frightened, but I'll just stay with you so you can see I'm not frightened.
Come on.
Tell me those are not bats.
Okay, they're not bats.
Mac, why is he doing this?
Because they're the weapons he knows the best. Come on, do you think he can make it?
Evie!
My last illusion. She isn't dead. She's just resting. She'll wake up in a few minutes.
Is that the only way you could get her to come with you? Hypnosis?
Well, fortunately, Mac, it's part of my trade. You see, mesmerizing an audience helps create certain illusions, makes them quite real, quite real. You agree, don't you, Sally? Mac?
Mac, he's hypnotizing us.
Harry, forget it.
Yes, of course. You're too strong a substance.
No use, Harry. Police are on their way.
The police? I've catacombs here. I have underground passages. You'll not be able to find me. I'm going to keep her here. She's going to be with me. She'll be mine. I'm going to protect her. I'm going to protect her from all of you. See, Mac, it's so simple. I love her. I have always loved her. I tried to explain that to her, that I didn't want her to be hurt anymore. No, Mac, don't do it.
Harry, think of Evie. Think how she'll feel when she finds out you've killed us. Evie won't love you anymore.
Oh, yes, she'll understand. She doesn't trust you anymore. She'll trust me now. No. I'm the one she called when she went to meet Arthur at the beach house. It was me.
Then why hypnotize her? It's because she stopped trusting you when she saw you shoot Arthur. And she'll hate you if you do this, Harry.
No.
She'll hate you forever.
No, Matt,
she'll
don't say
hate
it.
you.
Don't say it, Joe. She won't hate me. She'll love me. She will love me.
How do you like my fine feathered friend?
Be glad you don't have to clean his cage. There. Careful.
You're gonna be all right, Evie.
Harry.
For a minute. Didn't even act like a regular ghost. Showing up at a seance and accusing somebody of murder who didn't even do it.
Arthur thought Evie had done it.
Well, how could he think that when he wasn't even dead?
Oh, Evie, that's marvelous.
And that Harry Hastings, what did he think when the ghost said Evie murdered him?
Well, what do you think? He thought he'd gotten away with it.
Well, if Arthur really had been dead, he could have used his supernatural powers.
Harry didn't think about that.
Okay, bye, Evie. Evie sends you 40 million kisses, and I'm to deliver them personally.
Oh, Mildred.
Yeah, right. Good night. Oh, do you think it's safe to take the hemlock off the door?
Yes, Mildred. And the juniper, and the henbane.
Right.
Okay, Mr. Smart Guy, before all this kissing starts, give a girl a break. What was the big clue that made all the lights pop on and say Harry Hastings?
You don't know?
I don't know.
You almost guessed it yourself.
I know. I almost guessed it was something that you said when they put Arthur in the ambulance.
I said you don't have to believe in ghosts anymore.
Of course, Harry Hastings believed completely in the ghost of Arthur Kendall because he believed that he had killed him. Oh, I should have gotten there.
Hey. 40 million, right here.
Coming, Master.
Sally. Would you mind stepping up here a moment? Could you help us with that, officer? Thank you. Oh, come on now. You don't mind posing with me for a few pictures?
Well, it's not really very fair. I am the newest member of the board.
And the prettiest. Surely aesthetic reasoning should govern the world of art.
Like the way you talk.
Oh, Senor Feliciano, Commissioner Stuart McMillan.
How do you do? How do you do?
Mrs. McMillan? We're ready with the tape now. Oh, excuse me a moment.
Well, I hope it's correct this time. I was so embarrassed at that last exhibit. I want to thank you again for coming to my defense.
Anybody can make a mistake.
But a lecture on Cubism in a whole room full of British 19th century landscapes?
You're the gentleman who brought the painting from the Prado, aren't you?
A great cost to my nervous system, yes. Nor shall I rest easily until it is safely returned to El Prado.
Well, perhaps an explanation of our security system would benefit your nervous system.
It would indeed. You see, we have reports that an international syndicate will attempt to steal the painting.
All the doors and windows are attached to the burglar alarm system, as is this painting. And right, I'm going to trigger the alarm. You see? Okay, Henry, turn it off.
Well, you were the only one who thought anybody could make that kind of mistake.
Well, listen, the bad thing was that nobody on the tour noticed it. It wasn't reported for 2 months.
Oh. Well, try again.
Here, wait just 1 second. Oh, Mac, I'm going to take the tour now.
Okay, I'll call you later from the office.
Oh, I won't be home. I'm going to be working with the children all afternoon.
Okay.
See you at dinner.
Bye-bye.
Nice to meet you.
Nice
See you
meeting
later.
you. Bye, Sally.
It's all set.
Oh, thank you.
Good luck.
Now, where is it?
Starts right there.
Okay.
Welcome to the San Francisco Art Museum's 17th annual spring exhibit. If you will kindly move down the corridor.
Charlie? Senor Feliciano, this is Sergeant Enright.
How do you do?
He's in charge of our personnel assigned to the museum.
I suppose, Sergeant, you will also tell me that my worries are useless.
Yes, sir.
We begin our tour there. Gallery A features a collection of early Italian masters. You will notice the door on your left. This leads to Gallery B and a collection of Venetian paintings unrivaled in the United States.
And 2 men here and here, sir. And that should certainly do it.
Mm-hmm. What about the closed-circuit TV cameras?
They'll be monitored right here at headquarters, sir.
Mm-hmm. Any chance of someone stealing another masterpiece while we're so busy guarding the Rembrandt?
Negative, sir. We've got everything in this museum under surveillance. And so many men guarding it, I'm not sure there's going to be any room for the public. We could hold off an armed invasion, sir.
Okay. Let's get a copy of this over the Spanish consulate. See if it brings a real smile to Senor Feliciano's face. And while we're at it, I want you to go over the wiring details with me one more time. See if you can bring a smile to my face.
Think she's all right? She groans like she is. Feel that, lady? That's a gun. We're gonna take your gag out now. You make a noise and the gun goes off. You got it?
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You all right?
Gee, it's nice of you to ask. Of course I'm not all right.
You want some water?
Nothing for starters. Thank you.
Here.
Thank you.
She's just real polite, isn't she?
Oh, you like that approach? Then maybe I should ask you, would you let me go, please?
Oh, that's cute. But no go.
Well, then could you take off this blindfold? It's too tight. It's stopping the circulation.
And you're supposed to be a police commissioner's wife? Do you know what'll have to happen to you if you get a look at us?
You know, this blindfold's not really that uncomfortable.
Put the gag back in her mouth while I call her husband.
Thank you.
Yes?
There's a call for you on one, sir. He refuses to identify himself, but insists on talking. Says it's about Mrs. McMillan.
Okay. Yes?
Hello, Commissioner. You have any idea where your wife is right now?
Yes, who is this?
Oh, so you know where she is, huh? You better check on that. And be home at 2 p.m. And we'll tell you where she is.
Who is this? June, call my wife at the Deaf Center for Children. Enright, you better get in here right away.
Yes, Commissioner. We found a tour guide tape in a wastebasket with Mrs. McMillan's fingerprints on it. And you know what was missing from the place? An oversized laundry bag.
Just one of your regular oversized laundry bags?
Just one of your regular oversized laundry bags, Mildred, except Sally is inside. Yes?
You located your wife yet, Commissioner?
What do you want?
Well, you don't know where she is, huh? Well, guess who does?
If she's there, I'd like to speak to her.
No. Oh, Commissioner, you're all rattled. I'm the one who's giving the orders.
I'd like to talk to my wife.
Easy. Easy, I'll let you talk to her. But I'm warning you, Commissioner. If you don't do like we want, it'll be the last time you talk to her.
Hi, darling.
Sally, you all right?
Fine. I haven't been so nervous since you proposed.
All for now, Commissioner.
All right, what do you want?
You'll be right there in 3 hours. We'll tell you then what your assignment is.
How much are they asking, sir?
They haven't said yet.
Well, that's rather strange, isn't it? Usually they tell you right off so you can start raising it.
Trying to psych me out. What would you say Mrs. McMillan is worth?
I'd say she's priceless, sir.
And what else have you seen today that's priceless?
The Rembrandt.
They must figure the commissioner of police could be the only one to get through maximum security at the museum.
And they figure right.
Well, then give them the Rembrandt. It's not like they're asking for the Mona Lisa.
I tried telling that to the Prado.
But, sir, if that's what they want, and you don't give it to them, they might kill her.
Oh, Commissioner.
It's easy, Mildred. We'll get her back. Don't worry.
A phone recorder at the commissioner's house, that's right. And stand by for a trace at 5 p.m.
Hey, why don't you guys have something to eat? You can't just drink coffee all the time.
That'd be great.
Thanks, Mildred.
Commissioner. Did Mrs. McMillan say anything that might help when she talked to you?
Yes, I'm sure she was trying to give me a clue. When I asked her if she was all right, she said yes. But that she hadn't been this nervous since the day I proposed. Now, why would she think of a thing like that at a time like this?
That's all?
That's it.
It's not much, is it?
No, it isn't, but I'm convinced she was trying to say something that would help me locate her.
Where did you propose to her?
In a delicatessen. We were having breakfast.
I can't tell you how much I'm enjoying all this. Do you realize this is the first time we've ever had a date for breakfast?
You know, my grandmother used to say that if you can propose at breakfast, you've picked the right girl.
My grandmother was right. That's a very good rule. I wish I could have known her.
Sally, do you know what I just did?
Pushed away your locks.
I proposed to you.
Propose what?
To marry me.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Oh, Mac. That's really nice. I'm so pleased.
Yes, so am I. Well, I guess we should begin making plans.
Plans for what? Can I have some more coffee, please?
For getting married, you remember?
Oh, Mac, you don't want to marry me.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. You just barely proposed. Besides, you could have any girl in San Francisco. You probably already have. When I think of all the girls, it would just be wild to have you propose.
Are you saying you're not one of them?
Of course I am. Mac, my grandmother always used to say, accept no proposals at breakfast. Or what do you do for the rest of the day?
She refused me.
Well, sir, I didn't think it was likely that she'd be stashed in the back room here. I mean, this looks like a perfectly ordinary deli.
You know, Edmund, I've got to handle this right. I could lose her.
Well, come on, Commissioner. We've got work to do.
Good afternoon, Commissioner. Sergeant, you eat here too?
No, we're here on business, senor.
Oh, well, now that you've discovered one of my weaknesses, let me give you some advice. You should try the pastrami. It's absolutely great. I happen to be a pastrami connoisseur, just as Mr. Pennington is an art connoisseur. And what's your specialty, Commissioner? Don't tell me. Law enforcement, I trust. It's been a pleasure. Good day.
You know, Commissioner, maybe Mrs. McMillan meant the area, not just the delicatessen itself. I mean, take a look at that warehouse across the street. That'd be an ideal place to hide somebody.
Sally's much too smart to give that vague a clue. I'll try anything. Thank you, Sergeant. It's always good to have you along. Why don't you check down there, Charlie?
I was just trying to get out of the sun for a while. You own this place or something?
Police.
Hey, look, put that thing away, will you? I've never done anything wrong in my life. In fact, I've never done anything. I'm a bum. There's beauty in that, too, you know. Only right now, not too much. I haven't eaten in 2 days.
All right, Sergeant, book him.
Yes, sir.
And make sure they keep him at least 24 hours. Till he's had a couple of good meals.
Hey, thanks, mister.
Commissioner, if anyone at that museum knows anything, they're not talking about it. We questioned all personnel, checked the guide tapes, and we searched that place from the basement to the attic. And all we came up with was the tape that sent Mrs. McMillan to the maintenance room.
Which means we're not getting anywhere.
Not yet, no, sir. Now, if you can keep them on that phone for 3 minutes, we've got them. Even 2 minutes. And we can pinpoint the area.
I thought Sergeant Wilson usually handles this equipment.
Oh, he does, but he's on another assignment.
Last minute?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Well, it's just that I felt so useless down at that office with all those men and all that equipment there. And none of us are any nearer to her than we were this morning.
That should be my speech, Sergeant. Or are you in love with her, too?
Well, do you think I'd come over here and tell you about it if I were?
Yes, I think you would.
Ooh, those look fantastic. What are they?
Chocolate meringue. They're Mrs. McMillan's favorite. Save some for her in case she's hungry when she gets home.
I thought you always said they're a nuisance to make.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
Well, excuse me. Do you mind?
I don't know. What are you doing?
Well, I've been promising Mrs. McMillan that I'd get at these spots for weeks. First the rug and the drapes.
Start the trace.
Yes?
First off, Commissioner, don't waste time with the trace. We're gonna be off the phone in a minute and a half.
All right. I won't waste any time with a trace.
Go on. Hey, you probably figured out what we want by now, right?
Well, I have a pretty good idea. You want the Rembrandt.
Hey, I heard you were bright. It's nice to have it confirmed. Be on the corner of Bush and Polk at midnight with the painting. And no tail. And no bugging devices, Commissioner. Any slip up on your part, and you will never see Mrs. McMillan again.
Just a moment. How do I know you'll release her after I deliver the painting?
Well, Commissioner, we want the painting, not your wife.
And I also want to make sure she isn't taken out of San Francisco.
Nice try, but we're not about to tell you where she is.
Either I get her back as soon as you get the painting or the deal's off.
Okay. She's in San Francisco. But that's all we're going to tell you.
Prove it. Let me talk to her.
I told you once, this call's ending.
Then call back at 10 p.m. and have Channel 12's newscast playing in the background. The station signal only reaches San Francisco area. That way I'll know she's here and safe.
Now look, Commissioner.
You look. Either I talk to her or the deal's off.
Okay, 10 p.m. Channel 12 in the background. And no tricks. I'm warning you, Commissioner.
No tricks. And one more thing. Any luck?
Nothing. You're pushing them very hard, Commissioner.
What choice do I have?
Where are you going?
To get the painting.
Well, high time. I was all ready to go to the museum myself.
They won't get away with it.
We have to go on the assumption they will.
Isn't there something else they'll settle for? Feel free to offer any amount of money. I'll back you, Mac. You know that.
Oh, thanks, Matthew, but it isn't money they want. They want the Rembrandt.
Well, if that's it, that's it. The first order of business is to get the permission of the Spanish consul. Thanks. It won't be easy. I can imagine Senor Feliciano's reaction when we tell him we want to borrow his masterpiece.
Absolutely not. Out of the question.
There's no choice. A life is at stake. My wife's.
That is highly regrettable, of course. And after you called, I was on the telephone with my embassy. It is simply not within my power to give you the painting.
Well, if I may ask, just what are the priorities of your government?
To protect the rights and property of the citizens. The Rembrandt is one of our proudest possessions. It is not mine to give or to loan. It belongs to all the people.
I don't see how you can equate property with a human life.
I sympathize completely with your concern over the safety of your wife, but I urge you to look at this matter from the larger view.
What larger view? My wife is about to be killed. There is no larger view for me.
Commissioner, try to consider the precedent this would set. If we agreed to surrender the Rembrandt as ransom, the demands that might follow could literally lay siege to the art world.
All its treasures would be subject to this kind of plundering. We owe it not only to ourselves, but to the world to take this kind of stand.
Senor Feliciano, you're an eloquent spokesman for your government's position, but you're also a man. And a woman's life is in danger, a beautiful young woman. No painting's worth her life. No painting's worth any human life. I've been a connoisseur of art all my life. If anybody knows the value of a masterpiece, I do. But I also know there's no greater work of art than a beautiful woman.
I must agree, in spirit, of course. But I cannot relinquish the painting. I'm deeply sorry.
All right. I'll get Washington on the phone. I won't take no for an answer.
As you wish, Commissioner. But I can tell you, your plight is hopeless.
Yes, Harry, that's right. I am putting it on a personal basis.
Mac.
It's just not possible.
Then make it possible.
Mac, be reasonable.
Look, in the Army, I saved your life.
Now you save mine.
The timing's lousy, Mac. We're right in the middle of negotiations with Spain for a new...
I don't give a damn about your negotiations. I want my wife back.
All right, Mac. I'll make the call.
But I can't promise anything.
Thanks, Harry. And don't hesitate to beg.
Commissioner? I just wanted to report that everything's been arranged for that 10 p.m. phone call.
Thank you.
Well, I guess there's nothing else that we can do until they call. Are you all right, sir?
Well, I don't know. I'm fine. I just keep going over what he said in my mind. It suddenly dawned on me that there was something else besides his words.
Oh? What was that, sir?
Well, a noise in the background. Pocket, a pocket, a pocket, a pocket, a pocket, a pocket.
Well, what kind of an animal would make that
No,
kind of a
it wasn't
noise?
an animal. It was a motor of some kind.
Oh,
A pocket, a pocket, a pocket, a pocket, a
pocket,
pocket,
a pocket, a pocket, a pocket, a pocket, a pocket,
Yeah.
a pocket, a pocket.
A washing machine.
Washing machine be whoosh, 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 whoosh. That doesn't exactly narrow the field.
No, it doesn't. There's got to be a clue in what Sally said.
Well, sir, we've tried the delicatessen and the warehouse across the street.
Yeah, but you see, after Sally hedged on my proposal at breakfast, I changed the setting. I tried again at lunch. This time, it was at the top of the mark.
Of course I love it. I adore caviar. Not to mention the ambiance. You really know how to handle a girl, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've had so much experience. I've had none. Are you sure you're not trying to take advantage of my inexperience?
Of course I am. That's why I'm asking you to marry me.
Well, it sounds a lot better here than it did at the delicatessen.
Well, is that a yes or a no?
I loved breakfast. I'm adoring lunch.
Oh.
What are you doing for dinner?
Sorry, but I have to work.
You do?
Yeah, I have a brief due in the morning. I'll be in my office most of the evening.
The Carson case?
Your hunch was right. It isn't embezzler, except it isn't Carson.
Do you mean to say, Mac, that I was really able to help you on one of your cases?
Well, more than I plan to admit in public.
Mm-hmm.
Does that answer your question?
Which question?
Why I want to marry you?
For my brains? Oh, Mac.
Sally, I love you. Look, I love you.
I wish I could believe that. I do want to, you know.
We want to search every room in the hotel.
Every room?
And every closet in every room.
I'll get the manager to accompany you.
Commissioner, if we don't find Mrs. McMillan here...
If we don't find her here, we'll check every hotel in San Francisco. It's the only clue we have. A hotel.
Yes, sir.
You think we're wasting our time, don't you?
Yes, sir.
That concludes this evening's Film Classic. Stay tuned for the news, which follows immediately.
Good evening, folks. Got some real thoroughbreds out here in the corral for you tonight. You come on over. You're going to go home with a couple of 100 horses, I guarantee it. We'll make you a deal so good, you want to lasso it yourself. If you don't, my brother, I'll tie the knot myself and hang it from the highest tree in Northern California. Come on over this way, folks. This here is my sales manager. Now, if you can't outsmart this old boy and get the best deal in town, why, you ain't even trying.
Now just say hello, you got that?
How can I just say hello? What if he asks me questions?
Don't answer them, I just told you that, lady.
Well, what if he asked me what I had for dinner? He's sure to ask me that.
Hey, lady, you want to live after that phone call?
Why can't I just say hello?
Hurry up and dial. The news is coming on.
Oh, a little more to the right now. Yeah, I'm fine. Hold it. Just a minute.
Your home phone's ringing now, sir. They're switching it over here.
It's there on line 1, Commissioner.
Yes?
Commissioner, we got your wife here. And the TV's on channel 12.
Now remember, just hello.
Hello.
Sally, are you all right?
Hello.
What? Good evening, and welcome to Channel 12 6 p.m. News.
6 p.m. news? You recorded the 6 p.m. news to play behind her voice.
What kind of a trick is that?
That's not a trick. The station made a mistake. Ask your wife.
She's probably not even alive. You have her on tape saying yes or no to any question I ask. The deal's off. What's that?
Yes. Good evening, Channel 12.
Hey, don't you guys even know what time it is? If it's 6 p.m., I've been drinking since 2 p.m. Say, not a bad idea.
Thank you very much for calling. It was our error. Sorry. Good evening, Channel 12.
I hope your news is more accurate than your clocks.
Our error. Sorry. Good evening, Channel 12.
What's the idea of calling the 10 o'clock news the 6 o'clock news?
Oh, I'm very sorry, but all the lines to the newsroom are busy right now. I have to put you on hold.
They've started the trace now, sir.
Okay, let's go.
Fine.
We have a line free to the newsroom now. I can connect you. Thank you for waiting.
It's about time.
Ronald Harris, sir. Good evening. May I help you?
How can you make such a dumb mistake calling the 10 o'clock news the 6 o'clock?
We did that?
You sure did. You called it the 6 o'clock news just now.
I didn't realize that. I'm
Very sorry, sir.
just a moment. Miss Wilson,
Find out if the 10 p.m. news was called the
6 p.m. news.
Will you? Please.
We're checking on it right now, sir. It's a most embarrassing situation. Are you sure you heard correctly? Yes, we did. I agree completely.
And thank you so much for bringing it to our attention.
I hope you'll continue
To watch our newscasts and report on our accuracy. Tell me.
Are you a regular viewer?
Forget it.
Well, at least we found the area, sir.
Yeah.
North Central area, sir.
Just great. Only 10 square miles.
Well, we have squads out right now covering it all.
What time is it?
Nearly 11.
I have to deliver that painting by midnight.
Any word from Washington?
Nothing.
Are you ready to listen to the tape now, sir?
What about the voice graph?
It doesn't check with anything we have on record.
How can you make such a dumb mistake
Listen.
calling the 10 o'clock news the
You hear
6
that?
o'clock?
What? In the background?
Sure did. You called it the 6 o'clock news. Just now. I hadn't realized.
Pocket up, pocket up, pocket up, pocket up, pocket up, pocket up. Yeah, what does that sound like to you? Pocket up, pocket up. Yeah.
Me too. I keep coming back to what Sally said. The more I think about it, the more convinced I am. Wait a minute. The day I proposed, there's someone else who knows about that.
Of course, she tells me everything. And I mean everything, Commissioner.
Did she mention the fact she kept refusing me?
Mm-hmm.
Did she say why? Well, why?
Well, Commissioner, I kind of hate to tell you that.
Mildred, something about the proposal or the day of the proposal might save Sally's life. Now, please, tell me everything.
Okay, you asked for it. She kept turning you down because she loves you so much.
Because she loved me so much?
And she wanted to make sure that you loved her as much.
Well, that doesn't sound so bad, sir.
Oh, I haven't gotten to the bad part yet, Sergeant. You see, the Commissioner used to play around a lot. You want it all, Commissioner?
Yeah.
Good. The Commissioner was the biggest makeout man in the entire San Francisco area. Some people said the entire West Coast. I never said so, but some people did. No offense, Commissioner.
No offense.
Well, he used to take out a different girl every evening, and sometimes in the afternoons, too. We used to read about him in all the society columns and in some other columns, and I used to say to Miss McMillan, of course, her name wasn't Mrs. McMillan in those days. Her name was...
Mildred!
Oh, yeah. Well, I would say to Mrs. McMillan, listen, if worse comes to worse, you can always get a great divorce. I mean, I felt the settlement alone was worth...
The proposal, Mildred. What did she say about the proposal?
Well, she said that it took all day, and that she had to pop the question. Really, Commissioner?
Is that the way you remember it, sir?
Well, yeah, I had to work late in the office. It must have been after 11 when I left. She was waiting for me in the parking lot.
Good evening.
Well, this is what I call a real class surprise.
How can you be sure? You haven't even seen what's in my hamper yet.
Hamper? I thought that was your purse.
You didn't eat dinner, did you?
No, not even a lousy sandwich.
Oh, well, that's what I brought you. A lousy sandwich.
I'd love a sandwich. I'm starved.
Good. My cooking works best on people who are starving.
You call this cooking? I call it a tuna fish sandwich.
Well, I call it cooking. Anything I do in the kitchen, I call cooking.
Then you're a great cook, because it's a great sandwich.
Do you really mean that?
Sure, I mean it.
Will you marry me?
Sally, are you sure I'm the one?
Well, I wouldn't want you to end up with a wife who couldn't cook. I love you, Mac.
Then what happened?
Really, Sergeant?
We just drove around, talked, made plans.
Well, sir, where did you drive?
I don't know. I just drove around. I wasn't paying any attention. Oh, there's nothing here, Sergeant. I remember. We started out this way.
Where were you going?
Just driving around.
Where to from here, Commissioner?
All over, like I just told you.
Well, sir, I don't understand what the clue was. How will we find her if you drove everywhere?
I don't know. Maybe what she said wasn't a clue. Maybe I just wanted it to be. Maybe she was just nervous. No, she wasn't nervous the day I proposed. I was. I just can't remember.
Commissioner, I have never seen you like this. You've never given up before. Hey, it's almost 12 o'clock. We better get back.
McMillan.
Washington calling, Commissioner.
What have you got, Harry?
Officially, Mac, we had nothing to do with this.
And if you lose that painting, we'll issue a statement denouncing you. Also, don't ask me what I had to promise in return. Or what we're giving away for this.
But you've got a green light.
Harry, you're sensational.
In fact, this phone call never took place.
But, Mac,
Yes.
Good luck.
Thanks, Harry. Would you hold this, McMillan?
I've been here a long time. I was even on duty the night they got the Goya. Just to stand here and watch. It was worse on my ulcer than a shootout.
Thank you.
Good night, Commissioner.
Night.
And good luck, sir.
Thanks. Yes?
Right on time, Commissioner. Now go to 8th and Howard for further instructions.
Eighth and Howard. I'll take Market Street.
8th and Howard. Got it, Commissioner.
No thanks, son.
Might as well take it. It's free. The fella in the corner already paid for it. Said to be sure you got it.
Thank you. Sending me back to Bush and Polk.
We're with you, Commissioner.
All right, let's cut this out and get on with it.
Oh, but you're doing so well, Commissioner. Now bring it across the street. That's right. The building directly in front of you.
I'm going into a building across the street. A tall one. Apparently, that's where they'll make the drop.
We're right behind you, Commissioner. And, sir, be careful.
Inside the elevator.
He's in the building.
Why the rush?
No questions, Commissioner. Just keep your mouth shut, you understand?
He's in the building, going up to the roof now.
Hold it right there. This should hold your friends for a while. Let them walk up. Move.
Look, they jammed the elevator. Martin, you stay here. We're going to have to climb the stairs.
But, Sergeant, we're going to lose the painting.
There's no way out of here but the elevator and the stairs. We've got them trapped.
All right, now hold it. Take out the painting. Yeah, that's a real one, all right. And no bugs. All right, put it back.
All right. What about my wife?
Well, you'll get her back. Just don't try anything cute, Commissioner. It'd be dumb if anybody got killed over a painting now, wouldn't it?
All right, now what?
She coming in on that? Don't ask me, Commissioner. I'm a messenger boy, just like you.
police helicopter.
You'll never find them in the dark!
Commissioner, you'd promise you'd keep it safe.
If I could get my wife back, I'd give them the Prado.
For crimes committed against the Spanish government, we find you guilty.
We interrupt your movie to bring you the latest on the fast-breaking story of the loss of a world-famous Rembrandt painting, delivered as ransom to the kidnappers of Mrs. Stewart McMillan, wife of the police commissioner. The loss of the Rembrandt has shaken the art world. Police had planned to recover the painting once Mrs. McMillan was safely returned, but the plan was thwarted by the daring helicopter escape of the kidnappers with the masterpiece. As yet, Mrs. McMillan has not been released. The failure of the kidnappers to release their victim has heightened the controversy.
Nothing.
Reaction to the loss of the painting is already beginning to come in from around the globe. Via satellite, James Harrison talked to an official at the Louvre in Paris.
Do you feel, sir, that the ransom of the Rembrandt will affect the Louvre's policy of loaning its art treasures to other museums?
We are calling a board meeting for the end of the week to review our loan policy.
Would the Louvre ever give in to a kidnapper's demand to relinquish one of its masterpieces?
Unthinkable. Under no circumstances.
To your knowledge, has this ever happened before?
To the best of my knowledge, nothing like this has ever occurred for the past 50 years.
I see. Do you feel that this will precipitate a rash of similar actions?
It is very difficult to answer this sort of question because we never know when someone is going to come to the museum to do something of this sort.
I see. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, I'm sure.
The Spanish government has sent an angry communique to Washington, but the State Department has yet to make a comment. Sir William Chamberlain, the noted British art critic, fears that the incident might set a precedent. We have his comments now via satellite from London.
The danger, especially in America, is that these things tend to become trends overnight. And have you ever noticed how they always seem to originate in America? Now, why is that?
We take you now to Chester Davis in our remote unit for an on-the-spot view.
We're talking with Mr. Al Liston at Johnny's Coffee Shop on 8th Street. Mr. Liston, are you aware of the ransom demand being made for Commissioner Stewart McMillan's wife?
Oh, sure. Sure, you told me all about it before you turned on all those lights. Don't you remember?
Do you think the commissioner was right to risk a masterpiece? Does love conquer all?
Oh, buddy. Are you asking the wrong fella? I mean, have you ever met my wife? Why do you think I'm hanging around a coffee shop all night?
And that wraps it up from our remote unit. This is Chester Davis returning you now to our studio.
Thank you, Chester Davis. Our in-studio guest is the chairman of the museum board, Matthew Pennington. Mr. Pennington, welcome. What do you think of the commissioner's actions?
He had absolutely no choice.
But as one of this country's largest art collectors, aren't you concerned that all of this is going to lead to a series of kidnappings in exchange for art objects?
As an art collector, I surely know the value of a masterpiece. But I've never seen a painting or any other material object that was worth a human life.
Then you approve of the police commissioner's action?
I not only approve, I feel it reflects great personal courage.
Thank you, Mr. Pennington. Other local and international figures, while sympathizing with the police commissioner's personal plight, tend to hold him responsible for losing one of the world's great masterpieces.
Why punish yourself anymore, Commissioner?
Mr. Pennington was right. You showed great personal courage.
We're going to get her back, sir. Look, these are very special kidnappers. Most likely a highly organized international syndicate. They didn't want money, they wanted a painting. And I think they'll keep their word.
Charlie, you and I have been around kidnappings too long to kid ourselves. Mildred, do you still have those scrapbooks of yours?
The ones you hate?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go get them. I was just looking at them this morning.
Going to the warehouse. It's time to collect.
Keep an eye on her. It's almost over.
I just checked on her. She's sleeping like a pussycat.
Pussycats don't sleep. They nap. Right on time. Good.
Everything Mr. Edgar does is on schedule. Satisfied?
That's unmarked. I'm satisfied.
So is Mr. Edgar. He wants you to release Mrs. McMillan before noon.
Right.
Mr. Edgar wanted me to tell you what a pleasure it was doing business with you.
That was my pleasure.
He said he may have more business for you soon.
Oh, good. How do we get in touch with you?
We'll get in touch with you.
Ooh, that is a honey of a shot. Where was that taken?
I can't remember. I keep going back to what Sally said. I haven't been this nervous since you proposed. Now, there's got to be a clue in there somewhere. What does that mean, Sergeant? Mildred?
Mm-hmm. Well, sir, maybe it, I don't know.
Listen, how about a little something to eat, gentlemen? I mean, personally, I can't think without a plate of food in front of me. It's breakfast time anyway.
What did you say?
Breakfast. You remember, eggs, toast, bacon.
No. The part about a plate of food in front of you. Sally always says that, doesn't she?
Hmm?
Now, wait a minute. Lox and bagels for breakfast. Lox, bagels, delicatessen. No. Champagne, caviar for lunch. Tuna fish sandwiches for dinner. Lox, caviar, tuna fish. It's fish! She smells fish!
Squads to every pier in the area, sir.
Better making the whole coastline in, right? Muir to Ray's Point. They could have placed a call anywhere.
Yes, sir. Where will you be?
I'm playing a hunch. I'm on my way to the marina. Sally and I used to eat there.
Please, could you take me to the police station?
Yeah, get in, lady.
There's probably 2 men following me.
Give me the marina port, Captain.
Port Captain's office. Speaking. Yes, sir. New boats? Just a minute, I'll look and see.
I'm interested in any new boats that came in this week, especially if you don't know the owners.
I have 3 that'll fit the bill. Slip 18, 24, and 27. Yes, sir, I'll see you there right away.
How'd she get away?
Because I left him with you, you idiot. Now this time, tie her up good.
I didn't even see her leave.
Well, you can bet she got a good look at us, sweetheart.
That means they'll be able to trace us.
Not dead, she won't.
Wait a minute, he said not to harm her.
We got no choice now, have we?
Oh. Dumb broad.
Hello, Commissioner.
Hi.
Grab that fire line, will you? Yep.
How are you?
Good to see you. Seems quiet enough around here.
Yeah, well, let's check and make sure.
Charlie, you said nobody ever came here.
No, Myrtle, there's no need to be inhospitable. Hello, I'm Charles Nelson. Welcome aboard.
That's gotten where it's bigger than fishing in the marinas these days. He can't pull out of here at that speed.
What slip was he using?
Number 27. That may be your man up ahead. Harbor Master, this is the port captain. Alert the Coast Guard. We're pursuing a cabin cruiser heading out to open sea. We'll need a helicopter and some boats. Over.
Looks like the harbor police are on our tail. Let's just dump her right now.
So I finally realized it was fish.
Why took you so long? Chocolate meringues. Boy, do I love them. It was really nice of you to make them, Mildred. I know what a nuisance they are.
That's right. Oh, a little hard. They're yesterday's. I should have mentioned it.
They're still delicious. Even day-old chocolate meringues taste good to somebody who loves them as much as I do.
Well, I'm going to leave you two alone now.
Mildred, before you leave, I was wondering about the drapes. Now, I love the half you cleaned, but the other half is looking a little strange.
Yeah, well, I'll get around to them.
And while we're on the subject, Mildred, the kitchen cabinets look a little silly. Half varnished.
Okay. Okay.
I thought she'd turned a corner while you were away, but I'm afraid she snuck back around it.
I love her just the way she is. I love you, too. It's good to be home. Mac. Mac, why would anybody want to steal a masterpiece? What could he do with it? He couldn't show it to anybody.
Well, there's always the possibility he could just sit and look at it, all by himself.
You mean an art lover could have pulled the whole thing off?
Well, a very selfish one. Either the kidnappers had a buyer for the painting, or a private collector had it planned right from the beginning.
Where would he be able to enjoy it? He couldn't even hang it in his own house.
Well, he'd need a private place. Very private. A place he'd have to have built since it was announced that the Rembrandt was going to be shown here.
Poor Senor Feliciano. The whole thing was his responsibility. He really loved that painting. What have you got?
You sure this couldn't wait until we opened, Commissioner?
I asked the same question, Mr. Farrar.
You got the information I asked for?
Yes, sir. Every blueprint, permit, building contract in the file. Right where the marker is.
There you are, Sergeant.
A wine cellar?
You got me out of bed to look up a wine cellar?
I'm afraid no one is up yet.
Then wake him up. Tell him it's urgent.
I'm sorry, sir, but my master gave strict orders not to be disturbed.
All right, I'll wait. In the wine cellar.
We have no wine cellar.
Well, you may call it by another name. In fact, I'm sure you do. But Atlas Construction, who built it, lists it as a wine cellar.
No one's allowed down there.
You know, your master expects too much of his servants. Don't you guys have a union?
Hello, Mac.
Matthew?
How did you figure it out?
I knew the thief had to be an art lover.
Could have been anyone, anywhere.
And he also had to know I'd do anything to get Sally back. That meant it had to be a friend.
Breathtaking, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I haven't slept all night. Who could? You know, it's sad. Unfair, really. You can have all the money in the world, but there's still some things you just can't buy. The masterpieces that museums so love to hoard.
Yes. Outrageous, isn't it? In a museum, anybody can enjoy a masterpiece. Not have to pay for the privilege.
But I was willing to pay.
You will.
Breathtaking, isn't it? Still, I can't help feeling sad. Matthew worked so hard to make it all possible. I wish he could see all these people enjoying it.
Doubt if he'd get much of a kick out of it.
I suppose you're right. The It's incredible that a man can come to the point where things don't interest him unless he can possess them.
Oh, I don't know. I'm a little like that myself.
Still, I can't help wondering what it would be like to own a masterpiece. To have it in your own home all the time.
Why not ask the man who owns one?
I don't think kisses are allowed in here.
Oh, sure. Kisses are. I think we better leave.
আব্বা আম্মায় যদি তোর ছোটকালে জানতো তোর হাইটের লগে তোর গাদামির হাইটটা একটু বাড়বো, তাহলে নিজ দিয়ে এমনিতেই 6 ইঞ্চি কেটে দিত, তোর আর গাদামি বাড়তো। শুন, আব্বা আম্মা যা বলে তা কর, বিয়েটা কর, আর আমার রাস্তাটা একটু ক্লিয়ারটা কর।
ও, আমি তোমার পথের কাটা না? তোরা কেউ চাস না যে আমি পড়াশোনা করে এই নিজের পায়ে দাঁড়াই?
তুই তো নিজের পায়ে দাঁড়াস নাই, তুই তো আমার কাঁধের উপর ভর করে দাঁড়ায় আসছিস। এই আসো। এই কি তোরা সকালবেলা এরকম কাঁদতেছিস কেন? আব্বাও কাঁদতেছে, আম্মাও কাঁদতেছে। কিছু আম্মা কি সকালবেলা কি সিরিয়াল দেখা শুরু করছে? তাহলে কিছু চুরি হয়েছে বাসায়? কেউ মারা গেছে? কেউ কি মরার আগে হসপিটালে অ্যাডমিট হয়েছে? তাহলে কি হয়েছে? সবাই এরকম আয়োজন করে কাঁদতেছে কেন?
বাবা মা বলতেছে আমার নাকি পড়াশোনার দরকার নাই, ধান থাকলে নাকি ধানের মাঝে চিটাও থাকে, আমি নাকি চিটা।
হ্যাঁ, তোর তো ঠিকই বলছে। আর তুই কখনো দেখছো আব্বা আম্মা পোলাবাড়ির সাথে মিথ্যা কথা বলে?
ভাই কি ওই কথা কইছে? কইছে আমার 1 মাসের মধ্যে বিয়ে করা লাগবে, বিয়ে করে 9 মাসের মধ্যে বাচ্চা পয়দা দেওয়া লাগবে।
মাত্র 9 মাস টাইম দিছে? তুই তো নির্ঘাত ফেল করবি। মানে তোর যে পড়াশোনার কন্ডিশন, তুই 9 মাসের সাথে তোর আরো মিনিমাম 4 মাস টাইম দেওয়া লাগবে, তারপর যদি 12। আচ্ছা, দোকানদাররা অবশ্য নতুন যারা বিয়ে করে তাকে চেয়ার দিকে তাকায় থাকে 2 পয়সা ইনকামের জন্য, তোর দিয়ে এটাও হবে না। তুই চিন্তা বাদ। হ্যাঁ বল।
তুইও
কি?
আমি আগেই সন্দেহ করছিলাম তুই আমার মায়ের পেটের ভাই না। মায়ের পেটের ভাই হলে তুই এরকম করে কথা বলতে পারতি না। তোর আমার না কোনো মিল নাই, না আছে স্বভাবের মিল, না আছে চরিত্রের মিল, না আছে তোর এই যে চেহারার মিল, গায়ের কালারের মিল, কোনো কিছু মিল নাই। বাইকটা
শোন, আব্বা আম্মায় যদি তোর ছোটকালে জানতো তোর হাইটের লগে তোর গাদামির হাইটটা একটু বাড়বো, তাহলে নিজ দিয়ে এমনিতেই 6 ইঞ্চি কেটে দিত, তোর আর গাদামি বাড়তো। শুন, আব্বা আম্মা যা বলে তা কর, বিয়েটা কর, আর আমার রাস্তাটা একটু ক্লিয়ারটা কর।
ও, আমি তোমার পথের কাটা না? আমি তোমার জীবনের বাধা? তোরা কেউ আমার ভালো চাস না, তোরা কেউ চাস না যে আমি পড়াশোনা করে এই নিজের পায়ে দাঁড়াই।
তুই তো নিজের পায়ে দাঁড়াস নাই, তুই তো আমার কাঁধের উপর ভর করে দাঁড়ায় আসছিস। শোন, আমি তোর ছোট হিসেবে চাই তুই আব্বা আম্মার কথাটা শোন, তুই 1 মাসের মধ্যে বিয়েটা কর, আমি কবজি ডুবায়া তোর বিয়ার কাচ্চি খাবো, বুঝছস? এই আসো।
ড্রেস চেঞ্জ করতেছিস?
Gần 500 triệu. Ây da, sự bình không? 1 tỷ ôi, anh còn tận 749 tỷ nữa mới hoàn thành một rebirth đỉnh. Đấy một lần thôi, bây giờ anh cần 4 rebirth cơ. Mà bây rebirth được 2 lần, tích từ mấy lần trước. Thì là khó đấy. Tự nhiên khó, ấn vào chỗ best equip này, ấn vào best equip cũng được. Và mình phải vào thay. Yes. Đi. Sao tao mới chết này vậy? Ôi, Việt Nam khủng hoảng. Sợ thiếu đồ đấy. Thiếu đồ không trầm trọng. Sợ mình chỉ định hay là nó vào để nó check anh em nhà bạn nó hay không. Thì Nghe mấy tỷ rồi. Ra anh ra quay 10 lần này, anh đủ tiền quay 10 lần này. 2 tỏi. Ê, khoan, anh kiếm 4 tỏi quay. Anh kiếm 4 tỏi thôi anh quay. Xem phim tía đơ đéo biết gì đâu. Xem phim tía đơ ra đây đéo biết gì đâu. What the hell. Thực ra là cái Netflix ấy, hồi trước người ta cái đợt lâu nó bảo là không cho kiểu nhiều máy nhập nữa, thực sự là máy không cho, đấy là không cho nhiều máy xem cùng một lúc thôi, chứ nhiều máy đăng nhập có sao đâu. Nó có giới hạn, nó có giới hạn và bao nhiêu máy xem một lúc một click mà. Có mấy lần tao xem sao kiểu bảo mấy cùng bằng một máy khác cơ, xem là lúc tao chưa mua một bạn thì nó ghi là có quá nhiều người đang xem, hãy vào lại sau các kiểu, tao mới biết là giới hạn người xem rồi. Em ơi, không bảo em ơi, rồi lại thua 69 máu à. Rồi em ơi, lúc mà anh bay tiếp vậy nhìn hướng đông siêu hướng tây. Ui, đồ thủ cái này chùn búa à, biểu hết kiếm là xong. Ôi đánh kên đéo đánh dù này nó cút, đéo chờ dù này. Rồi thầy ơi, sắp đang ngủ quả là chiều đi mua đồ nhưng mà đang ngủ. Từ ngày thứ 6 tuần sau em ơi. Yes, anh ác quỷ và thôi cho anh lượn trên lớp cái trong cũng được. Trốn không? 400, 500 triệu mới được gần một nửa. Hai cái gì đấy? Tại sao bà cho cái nhỉ? Mới được 1/3, 1/4 chùm búa. Rồi, bay 2 lần nữa thì được 4 tỏi quay được một quả trứng. Thua tiếp này, bộ đại khỏe đấy. Cái đéo tao thua vậy. Yes, broccoli. Thông báo à? Confirm. Ui, nổ bung tuyển nhân sự. Nhân sự là nhỏ quá à. Thôi, để nhân sự đây. Anh sẽ đánh quả kênh 4 nhá. Anh nhầm kênh 3. Gây nhá. Mày là ai? Ui, Asia này. Gọi là cái gì cơ? Thực thích à? Thực thích không vậy? Rồi ra bộ tay không? Chắc là chết. Hàng nhàng yêu khối. Hôm qua anh phi xe về qua làm mới đầu, anh xuống anh im xong rồi anh mới giả vờ đi ra chỗ đấy để xem ngó xem kiểu như giống đang đợi ai đến này gì, xong rồi anh thấy cái đứa kia đang lên điện thoại đấy, đéo có ông nào đấy. Xong rồi lúc anh đang cất đồ vào cốp về, cô bà sang bà ông khác sang bảo là ông khác đi đâu về, ông bảo là kiểu cái ông ở ca trông đấy chưa về, chưa ngủ dậy à, cái đéo gì ấy. Thế thấy đéo bảo là chưa đâu, anh cất đồ sang phi luôn. Nụ 10.000 vẫn đùa cái cay nhỉ. Trời ạ, muốn đấu sĩ ở nhà. Đấy mày ngu bình gì mày ngu. Anh cứ ngồi anh nghịch mấy game xong rồi một tí thôi, rồi anh kiểu game này anh nhầm mấy game khác cũng kiểu này giống với cả game trước cơ, nhưng mà nó lỏ quá thì anh thấy game này chính là vừa anh tìm cái game cũng như cái game mà mình chơi mới chơi gần đây nhất ấy, nhưng mà nó anh có game nhỏ mà anh có cả cái mà nhớ có cái tập gym mà anh chơi cái đấy, nhưng mà cái đấy nó chỉ là nguy trên máy xong tập đi tập lại thôi, nên là anh nghĩ chắc kéo được, thế là thôi anh thấy game này Michelin hơn. Không biết, có cứ kim cương. What the hell? Nhưng mà anh vừa dùng kim cương, anh up hết pet thì là giờ hết sạch kim cương. Tôi không kiếm được nữa. Kiếm kim cương nữa rồi, không biết kiếm ở đâu. Đâu nha. À, cái nhiệm vụ cái nhiệm vụ cái quan này để anh đi chợ. Thấy à? Để đi, đây đi chợ đây. Tính kết vào quan lao kia. Ôi da. Giờ nè, thì cứ thấy kết vào cái quan can. Sao ai không biết kiếm cương ở đâu luôn. Cốt thì lóa, cốt không dùng được. Đâu ấy, đọc gì? Đây, đọc con này ra. Đọc chậm ấy. Đọc chậm vậy. Có tôi đọc không? Mấy ông ơi. Về vào to à? Không phải vào to không vậy? Được chứ anh 37 máu anh phải lên tao. Sắp chết rồi. Sửa lâu. Em đừng im mấy con pet là cũng cắn vào vũ. Như game kia. Như game như Pet Simulator nếu nhớ. Ken 2 thắng không? Thắng mà. Để thắng này. Đi chết vào lắm. Mà muốn gì? Ở quân múa ở cái xía đây, ở quân múa lúc đầu. Chuẩn đấy thành một người. What the hell, cho anh đéo ở đây. Anh thử bỏ zone rồi, anh đi chết 8 rồi. Chết zone. Mình chết 9, nhìn chết 9 còn đéo vào nhỉ, chết cũng. Thấy đi. Đó thằng click. Tầm bắt. Ok rồi. Câu này là 2 con đấu sĩ Ken này. 7 à? Thiếu đéo như vậy. Thiếu Rexstyle. Cái gì thiên cung vào. Thiên cung mạnh. Thôi thiên cung yếu mũi cũng không đéo ai nữa. Đúng không? Nhà này có zone này. Đây đồ hẳn hoay nhá. Đây thằng này sử đồ hẳn hoay đấy. Nhưng mà Ken của anh là Ken 2, đừng ngu. Ken này là Ken 2 đấy. Dẫn spray anh chơi lấy mỏi tay đấy. Anh sẽ bút tốc cho các bé của anh nhé. Chi gai lọ. Đó chi mà. Đó chi một người chết. Anh chơi thường thì thử đúng xét. Sao? Ok. Nhặt thì thầy. Auto, nhưng cái này mất tiền. Auto cái auto cái bút đây, auto bút thôi có gì đâu. Đeo đầu nó chả. Nhưng mà cái đéo có tiền thì sao? Đéo cho tiền, của anh bách cái đéo cho tiền, chạy bị biết. Ui, Ken này, Ken 3 tới chơi. Đéo ở đây, lắp này không? Đại bác lên thanh à? Em ơi. Rồi. Đại bác lên thanh lắp cho zone này được không? Nhưng mà không có đồ khác. Rồi không có đồ khác lắp cho zone này mà. Này. Số phận đã lựa chọn nó rồi. Với cả một cái gì đấy. Sắp siêu linh. Xong. Rồi xong. Để ra 2 cái đồ quan làm chi. Anh đang bay mà em. Không. Em sao thì nó 1 tỷ rồi em. Ngáo à. Mày qua lại Vũ, mày như khác server rồi sao ấy. Khác server rồi. Khác server rồi. Mày gặp tao mày đấy xong rồi mà. Đấy xã hội. Anh chưa cả được 2 lượt quay nữa, 4 tỷ một lượt quay. Ghê vậy, ghê kinh vậy. Anh giờ đéo hiện được cái bảng tốt server nữa rồi ạ. Đéo biết anh làm mất rồi. Zoniba. Lần trước cần Zoniba rồi, lần này Zoniba rất đấm, lần này con đi Copa. Để check. Ê, mày đi cầm Zone của bố. Sao mày đánh đợt thời tử thần đâu? Sao mày đánh cái gì đấy?